Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. This is awesome. Today we have a preview of ASL. We have in the bottom right, Light, the best Terran player in the world. In the top left, we have ZeLoT. He is the most aggressive Zerg pro gamer out there, probably the most aggressive overall player in ASL. And this just so happens to be the first match of ASL this season. They're both in Group A. They're going to play a best of one. Literally the first game of ASL, and they happen to hit on the ladder. So this is a perfect opportunity to get a little preview of what that game, that match, could end up looking like. I'm excited. I'm really excited because that's like a fun and exciting match, because it's like, okay, we have the best like macro Terran that there is going up against the aggressive Zerg. And I favor Light, but ZeLoT can really make the upsets. So let's see what that's going to look like. We are here on Citadel, one of our new 4-player maps. They'll actually be playing Radion in that match, which is actually very similar. It has a couple less spaces. It's a little bit more open in the middle, but a very similarly shaped map. Okay, so it looks like it's going to be a wall against a hatchery first, so that's going to give us a little bit of time before anything really starts up. And I want to thank you guys for coming back to ArtosisCasts. Again, sorry for missing almost a week of casts there. I'm very happy to be back, feeling better and better every day. You know, normally when I get sick, I generally tend to record multiples at once, so even if I'm sick, like, there can be a couple days where I don't have to worry about it. But unfortunately, it was like a full week of sickness right at the end of a stack that I had recorded. But anyways, yeah, we are back, and thank you so much for tuning in again. And thank you very much if you like the video, if you leave a comment. It's really, really helpful to let people know. You know, it'll spread a little bit more and let them know ArtosisCasts is back for anyone who's like, oh, this is over, and just stopped getting recommended it. So thank you very much, guys. I do appreciate it. Now, taking a look at this game, Light scouts up to the top right, sees the Overlord coming in, and of course then knows ZeLoT is up here. And, you know, the type of wall he's going for, unless there was a 4-pool coming, which would hit right now, he is totally fine. You know, this type of wall is very, very nice because the Marine pops out on the inside, and then you only have this little hole. This is 2 Marines wide, so not hard to block. In fact, if you put one SCV kind of in the middle, it will basically block everything. Now, a single Marine walks out in the front. What he's looking for here is a possible drone scout that comes out that he could push away from his own wall in to just further confuse what ZeLoT might be finding. But we can see that ZeLoT's not doing that. He's just scouting with Overlords. Doesn't seem like he's too afraid of anything, and is mostly just droning up. A couple Lings going to be popping out. In fact, 2 Marines walking across. This is something that we're seeing more often right now, is Terran players walk across the map with even their first couple of Marines. Because at very high levels, it's like, you know, making those additional Zerglings, it can backfire, right? Like, those could be drones. And here he's just made 2. You can see Light dodged. He went to the north. This Ling is going cross map for the scout. Obviously, it can't do anything because there's Marines at home waiting. But now he's going to pop in with 2 Marines, and there's nothing. There's nothing here. 2 Marines in an SCV can do a lot of damage. He starts his sunken. He's going to lose at least 1 drone, probably 2 or 3. Let's see. 2. And, ooh, just gets out of there. We'll see if he can follow. Are you kidding me? 5 health left over. Okay, does intercept this SCV, trying to go for the drone. The drone has a couple hits left. It doesn't look like the SCV will be able to get the kill. So he ends up killing 2 drones. And obviously we see a sunken that was forced early, and we have lost mining time. So just 2 Marines walking out does a massive amount of damage for Light. Now, I want to just mention for people watching this, if you play, don't try to copy what you're seeing here. This is stuff that only works against very good players. This is the type of thing where if you try to bring this anywhere other than the top of the world, your opponent will be like, what? And they have like 8 Zerglings for absolutely no reason, and they kill your Lings, and then you're way behind, or your Marines, and then maybe they attack across the map and break through your wall because you only have 2 Marines and they have 8 Lings. And it's like, it's one of those situations, right? Where because Light knows that ZeLoT must optimize to have a chance to beat him, he is able to walk across the map and get damage like that with his first 2 Marines. Cross spawn, right? This is the beauty of StarCraft in many, many ways. All right, let's take a look at the actual builds we have going on. So it looks like this was a 1-Rax Academy and a wait a minute. So this was a walled Rax expand into Factory Academy Starport. So it's probably a Valkyrie Rush. Yeah, there it is. Armory being made. Okay, so a Valkyrie Rush. That is kind of fascinating. Oh my gosh. The timing on this is a little bit funny because, like, normally you have to start your turrets, like, right now. I guess because he's cross-spawn, this should still work, but he needs to get turrets up literally right now. Excuse me. He doesn't have the exact timing, I think, down, but it is, again, cross-map, so, you know, they've got to pop them and fly them across. So they will be appearing just after 6 minutes. Now, throwing down a couple missile turrets there. Here's a turret. Here's a turret. He's getting them up where he can. He needs to be able to afford a Valkyrie. There you go. Valkyrie on the way. Very tight build. Interesting to see Light right now going for a Valkyrie rush against ZeLoT, but not surprising. Okay, ZeLoT is probably the best Guardian rusher in the world. He's extremely good at it. In fact, I have some games on the channel where ZeLoT even smashes Flash with his Guardian rush. Like, he is literally up near the top of the ladder and does that build very consistently in this matchup. I don't know if he'll do it this game. I wouldn't be surprised, though, because he's already got the 3 gas. He's getting that quick +1. It definitely could be a Guardian rush. And look at Light. Oh, my God. He's getting +1 Valkyrie attack. Okay, so Light, a couple seasons ago, made a Valkyrie build where he was going 2-port Valkyrie with +1. And it actually destroyed the ASL qualifications. Like, a lot of Zerg players got eliminated because it was brand new meta and they didn't know how to deal with it yet. So I think this was 3 seasons ago that we saw it, like the beginning of last year. And yeah, it was kind of crazy because people were like, oh my God, this is unreal, because so many good Zerg players did not make it. But this is kind of reminiscent of that. The fact that he's going for +1 as well, like, +1 takes a long time to make. But Light is one of the best Valkyrie users out there. And in fact, he's getting good hits, but he is going to lose both. So basically, ZeLoT trades about half of his Mutalisk hit points to kill the 2 Valkyries, and now going after the Marines. And he actually reduces the Marine count pretty significantly. We can see now that Light just started his range. Maybe he didn't realize that he did not have range started. Excuse me. But that is one of the most important upgrades when fighting against the Mutas. The Muta's still doing a very good job here. Another Valkyrie comes up, puts some more damage on. You have to be careful about this. He might try to swoop in with Scourge now and get that kill. Let's see. Oh, he doesn't bring the Scourge in yet. Okay, here we go. The Scourge are coming this time. And he's going to get it. Dude, what a good kill there by ZeLoT. What an excellent kill. So now we have a Light who has lost 3 Valkyries before his +1 attack finished. This is kind of terrible for Light. Look at the position. Okay, the one thing we can say is he has a very healthy SCV count. Okay, 41 SCVs right now is pretty good. So a lot of the Mutalisk damage has just been upon units. You can see Light right now, he's just trying to slide so hard here. And in fact, very good micro on that Valkyrie. Oh, he's going to start blowing these up. So the Mutalisk count has been reduced. But if you look at this overall, Light has 2 barracks right now. He is adding a 3rd. Okay, he's making a tank. He is making more Valks. +1 is almost done. Again, he lost 3 Valkyries. So, like, let's say that he had 5 Valkyries now and +1. He could fly across the map and kill every single Overlord. Scourge probably wouldn't be able to connect very well against him. Like, it would be kind of insane. So it's really important that those Valkyries were reduced in number by ZeLoT. Now, the Valkyrie plus a tiny amount of Marines start to walk out. You know, obviously you can't attack across the map with just Valkyries, so these units are supporting each other. Siege tank on the way. Do we have a science facility? I don't see one. Excuse me, sorry. Still just a little bit of a cold, but that's something we need to see from Light pretty quickly here, right? If there's any lurkers on the map, like, all he has for detection is 3 scans at the moment, and if they're like hold position in the middle like this is a very important thing to do against Valkyrie builds, right? If they are a little bit slow on walking out, it's hard to go Valkyries into science vessels. Like, it's a very slow science vessel. So hold position lurkers can actually do magnificently. Now, Light actually just sieges here. So he's sitting very turtled, and he is going into the Vulture speed. So we may see a switch into mech. Oh, man. Yeah. So this is basically the older meta that Light made. He adjusted the build a little bit. It was only one Starport Valkyrie, a very quick Valkyrie opener. No big surprise there because it was like a 2-hatch opener there from ZeLoT, and ZeLoT's an aggressive Zerg, so it kind of does make sense. And now he's got this very healthy Valkyrie count. He's got a decent amount of Marine Medic, but he is switching into mech from here. Okay, he's got the +1 vehicle upgrades on the way. Oh, the lurkers actually walk up. ZeLoT's like, what's going on? Are you coming? And he's coming in from 2 directions with those lurkers, and then finds, oh, you have actually quite a few siege tanks here. So this is just completely a mech switch that we're going to see. I don't think we're going to see too many more Marines made. Like, he should make a few for some map control, you know, for helping defend expansions and stuff. They, you know, the Marines and medics are actually still very strong for a while, especially considering he is investing in +1. But we'll probably see a full switch into mech as well. Science facility on the way. And more lurkers as well as hydras coming out. So it looks like ZeLoT here was planning to go into a hydra lurker, probably defiler composition. And now that he sees mech, it's like you're not going to change too much about that. That's still going to be pretty useful. The Dark Swarm will end up being important at some point when there's a lot of siege tanks, but we don't have the hive started yet. So this is a very mid-game composition that he's gone for. I think he went for this just specifically because it is a Valkyrie opener. Excuse me, I'm so sorry about the coughing, guys. But anyways, we have the Valkyries. You can see them absolutely destroying. Popping overlords, causing supply blocks, and clearing out the rest of those Mutalisks. Oh, man. Some Scourge going to catch one. Hopefully he gets home with the other ones. It's actually very important to keep the Valkyries alive because the mech switch that you're doing here, like you have some Marines for anti-air, but you generally don't make with this type of build any Goliaths, right? Goliaths, I mean, they can be very good anti-air, but Vulture Siege Tank is going to be much better against ground in general. You're going to be able to field a lot more siege tanks. So if you just keep a decent amount of +1 Valkyries alive, they can just kind of stop any air switches. They can deal with drop overlords, things like that. So you definitely want to keep them alive. Now you see he's starting to push out. It kind of looks a little bit like a Terran versus Protoss, right? Laying some mines so that your opponent can't close on the tanks too quickly. A good spread of siege tanks. Vulture's starting to run around trying to figure out what's what. He's going to find, okay, you have some overlords moving about. We see a good amount of lurkers here. Going to check what's up. Okay, the vultures run by. Lots of hydras popping, scanning multiple bases. Not a lot of places for the vultures to get in and do damage, but definitely information that he needs right now. Now, the third command center is floating up. It looks like he's floating towards the mineral base. The mineral base is useful, but like, you know, obviously gas units here, when you're playing mech, you're going to be able to make, like, for instance, more siege tanks, maybe fit in science vessels, continue your upgrades. If you're taking a mineral base, you're going to be very, very vulture heavy, which is not necessarily bad, but you don't kill your opponent in this type of position with vultures, right? Vultures, if they're like a little bit of a surprise or it's earlier on, sometimes you get them in, they start getting damage, you can start to snowball a bit. Not a position like this where we have like good sim cities, good rally points for hydras. The vultures aren't going to do that much. They can slow things down, they can defend things well, they can raid bases a little bit, but you're not going to finish the game with them, right? So that's what I'm looking at as far as the mineral base and why that's kind of an interesting choice. Now look, the Valkyrie's waiting here for a potential drop. There is in fact a potential drop coming in, and here's another one set up by ZeLoT as well. Okay, so he catches that one. Fantastic catch. But if you get one in, it might do the damage that you need. This Overlord trying to fly in. Oh, I think Light just saw that. Starts another turret down here. Yeah, Vulture's coming down as well. He has multiple turrets here. But this is a hard position. Look, he's kind of stuck back there. He's going to go ahead and radiate one. Yeah, like, this is very annoying to deal with. He will be able to clean it up. And not too bad. Not too bad. Okay, so that gets cleaned. Let's take a look. Okay, we have +1 with 2-1 on the way. Looking over at ZeLoT's side, he's actually getting queen energy right now. So he's definitely planning a big transition into queens. And this is something that no one has completely dealt with in a mech versus Zerg matchup. Like, queens are the ultimate late game. Look, he's making 12 queens right now. So basically the thing is that if you get the energy upgrade, they start with 63 energy instead of 50, which saves you 13 seconds on that first broodling. It's very, very good. But it looks like these are actually going to hatch before he has that done. So what can you do? You know, he's trying to line it up. Anyways, if you just consistently broodling tanks, it just runs Terran out of money very quickly. Like, they can't keep that huge army alive. Now, one thing to mention is that Fantasy, right? Like the champion, one of the best Terrans ever, who's not super active, but was active over the summer. He won the Gamers 8 tournament. You know, he still plays some. He helped JYJ with his preparation for the championship that he won. Hold on. We actually have a break coming in. I'll talk more about that in a minute. But he's breaking through these lurkers. He sent a lot of vultures forward to draw the spines. And now he will hit this base. So this is an excellent kill. He's laid down a ton of mines here to slow down any other counterattacks. He's utilizing his Marines that don't scale at this point. You know, their upgrades are kind of trash right now. He probably doesn't even keep them hotkeyed. Nice pickup there to save a few drones, but that hatchery will end up falling. So Light has kind of secured the bottom of the map. He's denied this base. He's taken this new gas base. You know, he's trying to spread out a little bit here, and he probably will prevent a lot of these units from retaking this base. He just makes this like a hard place to attack into and will spread out his units. Okay, so I want to go back to what I was talking about before, and I think I've probably talked about on this channel some. Anyways, Fantasy alluded to and Fantasy, by the way, is one of the guys who really innovated mech against Zerg, probably more than anybody. But anyways, he alluded to having kind of an answer for queens, or a partial answer for queens, and saying that he thought that there was a lot of room still for mech in this matchup. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, he's good friends with JYJ and helped JYJ practice for his ASL victory, and JYJ ended up showing in one of these seasons. I can't remember if it was a season that he won or another season where he just did very well. I think it might have been one that he actually ended up losing. It might have been like last season or something. Anyways, he went for a mech style that we've never seen, which I think is what Fantasy was talking about, where there were no vultures. It was just Goliath tank missile turret. And Sulky went mass queens against him, and the queens had a very hard time hitting broodlings. Now, Sulky did end up winning that, but you saw the groundwork for 9 queens getting the value that they need. Okay, so that's kind of the one thing I'm thinking about right now, because there's so many queens on the map, but we don't see that. Watch this now. The queens coming in, and they're going to be able to broodling everything. He's getting like some radiates off. Honestly, in a situation like this, EMP might be a bit better. I've seen Speed try to utilize that in the past against the mass queen swarms. Excuse me, since they do come in grouped up. But you can see just how efficient those queens can be. So they take down a bunch of siege tanks. The Hydra's starting to attack in. Oh, dude, Light is going to slaughter this. Look at this siege tank spread. But wait a minute. The queens are coming in and getting some broodlings off. Oh, never mind. Like, he had more than enough to kill that all. But then you see how the queens can pick apart a position like this. Amazingly done by ZeLoT. And look at this. We talk about ZeLoT being hyper aggressive. Dude, he's going up to 6 base right now. He's just macroing up Hydras. Truly, this guy is filling out. I'm getting chills. He's filling out his gameplay. This is a big window into the ZeLoT we're going to be seeing this season in ASL. Like, he is not just cheese. He is not a one-trick pony. You can see that this is really solid, great macro play out of him. Look at his supply right now. More supply than we have for Light. So Light right now is behind. Light is losing this game at the moment. The game is not over yet, right? Like, Light just got a little raid off here. Okay, he kills some drones. It's still 46 drones, still pretty healthy. You know, Light has to float this factory away. He's not going to be able to take those bases for a bit. Does he have something set up for this base? No, it doesn't look like it yet. You know, he has this base mining good. He has this base mining good. All out. Almost out. You know, again, Light does have some play, but, you know, as any Terran player who's played mech against Zerg knows, you're in a position like this where you're not applying huge pressure on the player going queens. And you feel like this is going to be a very tough game to win. Just the cost efficiency of the queens is unrivaled. The fact that you can make these things and just fly over, kill a tank, and then a couple minutes later you go back and kill another tank. And it's like, oh, damn, that's that's hard to deal with. We'll see what his plan is, but you can see heavier Goliaths, heavier missile turrets. He does have some vessels out here as well. Looks like some drops may be utilized here from ZeLoT. Okay, so... Well, I mean, Light is trying to grow himself still, okay? We see, like, a little bit of dropping going on. Like, this is a moment where ZeLoT is basically waiting for more queen energy and kind of maxing towards what he wants to attack with. And Light is trying to get the base count up. Like, this is a very important base. If he can get this base up and mining, right, hold on to that, he can make enough mech to maybe end up winning this game. But, you know, as that queen count, like, let's see if we can find the queens. Okay, we have 4 there. Dude. This is... So, we have... 20 queens. So that means 20 siege tanks are going to evaporate in the blink of an eye if he gets them all off. You probably won't get all of them, but let's say you get 14, right? That's insane. Excuse me. If you take 14 siege tanks out of this army, like, how many siege tanks do you even have? Okay, all those and these 2. Okay, so that would leave you 2 tanks in this whole area. See this area? If he does that, 2 tanks in this area. That's crazy, right? It's just, it's so strong. This is really why we don't see that much mech play right now. But I love that Light is trying this right before ASL. Is it a mind game? Is it a mind game to utilize against ZeLoT? I don't know. But this is, I'm just having a great time trying to figure this out. Like, is this something Light wants to do? Is this something he wants to try against ZeLoT? Is this how ZeLoT wants to play, like big macro play instead of crazy aggression that we've seen from him before? You know, obviously the queens are ready to pounce right now. You can see it, very good minefield. Okay, here come the queens. Let's see. Gets one. Oh, misses that one. Okay. Misses that one. Okay, gets one. Gets another. So 3 queens didn't land, and then every other queen landed. Okay, so that was a lot of tanks going down. You can see 1 tank remains. Obviously, we had a lot of units running in to die during that, and that was to draw fire. If it's only queens coming in, the Goliaths will kill them. So you do have to send in other units to attack at the same time. But Light has kept this base alive, right? The supply is a bit closer now. Excuse me. Right now, ZeLoT taking another base up here, taking another base down here. So ZeLoT is going up to 8 bases, and that is against the 5 of Light. Obviously, a bunch of these bases are getting mined out at this point. We're going to have to see what Light's plan is push-wise. Like, does he go to another main, or does he try to push across the map? I honestly do not know. Hydra attack coming in over here, but obviously he's got plenty here to stop that. Those Hydras being very cost inefficient there, but here come the queens. Oh, God, flying over the missile turrets, flying over the Goliaths as well. They do pop 3 of the siege tanks. But more army coming in here from Light. And Light actually takes a supply advantage. Look at that. The efficiency of Light's mech army. I think also you can see that there is some merit to going mass Goliaths with missile turrets here. Like the queens, when they go in, for many queens, it's a one-way journey, right? And if it's trading like 1 queen for 1 tank, that's still basically good enough for Zerg, because Zerg will mine more than Terran. But if you can make it below that, it starts to become more manageable for Terran, right? Where it's like, okay, you fly with 12 queens. Let's say 8 queens kill tanks. Okay, well, you know, maybe that's about even, right? But if you're stopping half the queens or more than half the queens, okay, well, each tank is being worth, you know, maybe twice its value here, right? These are some of the ways that you might be able to think about this to try to figure out like who's actually getting an advantage. Now he moves forward. We do have Parasite on a tank, by the way. So You know, he sees perfectly what's going on with this army. A ton of Hydras coming forward. The Goliaths buffering for these tanks. A flank of Lurkers comes in a little bit unexpected there, but they are adding a little bit of splash damage to this back row. The Hydras, are there enough to actually break through? There's more units from Light coming up here. Hydra's still in a giant arc, trying to push in, trying to take down these siege tanks. And I tell you what, Light being insanely cost efficient here. Just madness, his cost efficiency. But can he keep that up? Because look at what we have for ZeLoT. Okay, this one's getting low. This one doesn't have many drones at it because it's been raided a lot. Very good, getting there. For Light, very good, very good, very good. Yeah, he's got good saturation. He's got good production. They're very even as far as that supply goes. And, you know, normally something we point out is that, you know, Zerg supply is worth a bit more. Specifically against mech, it's not quite like that. So when you see the supplies close like this, you got to remember that the Hydras are like paper people, right? To steal from Guardians of the Galaxy. They're like paper people, right? Like, if it's just Hydras attacking in, the siege tanks will slaughter them if you have the right amount. Obviously, you can get to those overwhelming numbers sometimes, but we don't have that right now for ZeLoT. Now, Light moving forward, he's going to go ahead, pop this one Lurker. There's not a lot of defense here. He should be able to kill this base. Now, does Light need to take a base down here? I think that's a question, right? Like, does he need to take another base? Is he just going to walk around and try to kill everything? Because he doesn't have a lot of money to make more command centers. Maybe you start floating some of your other ones out. A lot of Hydras moving through the center of the map as Light kills that base in the bottom left. Don't forget, we have a lot of mining going on up here as well. Light coming back out. Just leaves a few units in here. Going to start sieging as the Hydras walk in. Dude, these Hydras are going to get absolutely wiped. Absolutely wiped. They're trying to fight, and they just cannot fight in this situation. I tell you, this has been like a great macro game. And I think that at the beginning of it, ZeLoT played very, very well. Now, he's still got like a good amount of queens, but his supply has fallen off quite a bit. We've seen a few attacks that were a bit off. You have to make sure you don't get lazy against mech. Like, there were other opportunities, like maybe you do a drop here, right? You know, maybe if he has his army here, instead you bring your army here. Right? Like, you can't just attack Hydras into siege tanks. That's not very efficient. It feels like either ZeLoT doesn't have maybe the full experience on how to end a mech game, or maybe like he got a little bit lazy, right? It takes a lot of energy. Look at this. We're almost at 30 minutes. A lot of energy to try to come in and continually do like smaller drops and things like that. Eventually, you just want to kind of attack, move to finish it off. Anyways, Light moving forward. We have a lot of queens coming up here. This could be problematic for Light. But look at this. He's zoning those queens out so well. Honestly, I think EMP would have been better here. Like, he's getting their radiates off, but yeah. Kills off a couple of the queens. Does lose a couple siege tanks still. Gonna move into the top right. And there's not a lot left here for ZeLoT. ZeLoT's down 30 supply at the moment. A huge flock of queens still, and they do have the energy needed, right? Or most of them do. Not every single one. There's a few in here that have about 10 seconds left. But really, broodlinging anything right now can be very powerful. He is going to go ahead and GG. Looks like there's a little bit too much from Light. I tell you what, this was a great game and a great preview of the first match of ASL this season. Guys, I hope that you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.